Welcome to the Protection Conversation. My name is Catherine Mengani. Today, I really want us to think broad on one of the key areas. Anytime you open your television, anytime you open your radio station, anytime you open your social media pages, you'll always hear a story of violence. Violence against women and girls, violence against men and boys, but most of the stories that are shared is violence against women and girls. We want to move on from stories to system. So the protection conversation is trying to put us in a way that we relate. What are these systems that need to be taken care of in order to end violence against women and girls? There are a lot of public conversations with the main focus of stories and awareness. Stories are very great. They bring out the real life experiences. They tell us what people are feeling. But our question goes back to why, despite all these stories shared, why are our systems failing? Why are we failing women and girls, men and boys when it comes to gender-based violence? This is key to note as we pick up the conversations. Knowing about violence is not the same as preventing violence. Knowing about violence is making the world know, everybody know that there is violence going on. But the protection conversation is putting system into place, is asking the hard questions and seeing where do we come in when it comes to ending violence against women and girls who are the most hit when violence occurs. Protection is a system made of one, coordination. Who are people who are very keen in terms of coordination? Coordination is broad. We need to have a multi-sectoral approach when it comes to coordination. One, we need the police to be in check, the health system, gender system, children's department, community organizations, NGOs, and many more systems have to come up. The judiciary, everybody has a role to play when it comes to coordination. Leadership. Do we have political goodwill in terms of ending violence? Do we have leaders coming in strongly to speak about violence? So these are the hard questions when it comes to the protection conversation, where we need everybody to come up and we see where are their places and where do they come in. Accountability. We all need to be accountable when it comes to violence. Stories are being told. Survivors have shared their own experiences. They have shared their pain. But now who is accountable? Is it that we only need to say a story and forget that the story exists? It's more about saying the story and now putting every system into accountable when we have to end violence against women and girls. Then now we need to prevent. So the protection conversation is looking at how is the system preventing violence. There are a lot of interventions on ending violence, a lot of interventions on prevention, but now we go back and say, we need to put the system into check. So what will we do? The podcast, as we start this conversation, will be very clear and very targeted. We are not going to share graphic stories because we have the survivors at heart. It's more about sharing the stories. It's more about just listening to them. But now we need to come out and say, what should we ensure that they get to prevent that such stories from coming out? We are not going to expose survivors or children. Exposure of survivors and children without one, ensuring that they are protected, two, ensuring that their emotional and psychological trauma is taken care of, is bringing more harm to survivors than any good. But what we want to do is to focus on systems and solutions. So the podcast will look more into what are the systems and what are the solutions when it comes to ending violence against women and girls. Who is this podcast for? Very many people are needed. The conversation is wide, but we look at practitioners. Practitioners at different sectors who are directly linked to ensuring prevention and response to gender-based violence. We look at policymakers, because if we don't look at policymakers, we will not have structures that are able to ensure that violence is spoken out, prevention measures are put up, budgeting is done, and everything necessary to end violence is put into place. Then we have leaders. We need political goodwill. We need to put our leaders into accountable so that our leaders, as they put up structures, as they budget for everything, as they ensure that at different levels of care or at different levels in the way of working, they are working in, we need to ensure that these leaders know they have something to do. Then why? Anyone else who is real about protection. So everybody else has a role to play, from the community to the highest level. So why we have this conversation, we want to explain how protection systems work and where they break. Once we understand where protection systems work, where they break, we will come back together, we will stand up together and see which are these loopholes that we need to seal. Join us in this amazing conversation on the protection conversation and ensure that violence against women and girls is a history of the past. Welcome.